All right. Your name again? Okay, Bamsielo. Okay, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sichaba Motsielwa, co-founder of Empowermen. Empowermen is part of EmpowerWorks, which also has got programs for the youth, programs for women entrepreneurs, and also has the capacity to do activations at events. Welcome and thank you for and your mics will be muted and sometimes your videos will be switched off. Please bear with us there. The views of the speaker are theirs and not those of Empowermen. We are just providing a platform for these crucial talks to happen during the lockdown period. I would like to thank the speakers firm for organizing the speakers for us. We're going to hear soon from our Senior Pastor Thomas Radebe on men and spirituality. And thereafter, there will be other talks that I'll introduce in the end. Why did Empowermen provide this platform, especially during the lockdown period? For four main reasons. The first one is really to change the narrative from pointing fingers at men to inviting men to play their part in finding sustainable solutions to the social challenge of equality. We'd like to equip men to rise above the stereotypes, the status quo, and become holistically great men. Thirdly, we'll want to inspire men to fight for all the right reasons and stand up for all the right things and unapologetically embrace all things it means to be a man. And last, to provide an inclusive platform that challenges every person who calls himself male, no matter their position in life, sexual preference, or nature, to become an active agent of change in their home, their work, and their community. I would like to thank everybody who contacted us directly on our WhatsApp number of 082 088 5262 to be part of these conversations, as well as visiting us on our www.empowermen.co.za website. Special welcome to everybody around the world who's listening to this live streaming on the following digital platforms: EmpowerWorks YouTube, Instagram at Empowermen, Twitter at Empowermen, Facebook at Empowermen, and the hashtag that we are following is I am Empowermen. Just a quick introduction. As I said, we're going to have a talk now on men and spirituality by Thomas Radebe. He's a senior pastor and founder of Ikaya Christian Fellowship Center. Over to you, Pastor.
Morning, sir. Thank you very much for wonderful opportunity to be with you, and we also wanna thank God, for the speakers firm for arranging these conversations. And people need to hear live. There's a whole lot of wrong information coming out there, discouraging information out there. There's just a whole lot of things that are quite saddening. But we just want to thank God for you guys for coming with a relevant platform that can address the people. One of the challenges that we normally have is that
we seem to have lost the audio to the pastor. We'll try and reconnect. Just bear with us for a second.
Oh, morning again, guys.
Pastor, we totally lost you.
We lost
Do you mind
there.
if you start again?
Yes, I'm not sure what happened.
Just start again.
Okay, yes, I can start again. Are we ready?
Yeah, we are ready.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Morning, guys. We got cut off there. We know the challenges of technology and all that. But I was still saying that we want to thank God for this time and this opportunity to be able to touch lives and to be relevant to what is happening in our times and our society. If a season has taken place, there's nothing you can do with that season. All you have to do is just to adjust yourself to the season. You can't pray the season out. You can't pray the season away. But you should need to find out it calls for certain creativities within you that you must stretch beyond what you've always known. I always say, just before I got into my talk, it's important that I must speak to what is happening now. I am saying Corona was a threat in the past few months, but right now, Corona is no longer a threat. But the biggest threat right now, it is our carelessness. How we are handling the crisis counts more that have been put in place. It's the biggest challenge that we have. So we want to plead our people, please cooperate with authorities, cooperate with government, and we want to talk to the influencers, influence people into the right direction. And thank God for this platform. And then we're going to continue from here. My subject, I have to talk about man and his spirituality. Let's go into the book of Genesis where things began. Genesis chapter 3, and then we're going to read just 2 verses, but my focus is on 1 verse. Chapter 3, and then we're reading verse 9 and 10. And the Lord God called unto Adam and said, Adam, where art thou? And he said, I heard that voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself. Now, God created systems, principles, processes, then there's outcome. So when you look at the creation, the whole creation is about systems, is about principles, and it's about processes, and then you expect outcome after that. So there's input and then there's output. So God created the universe, and then everything that he needed, he will speak to the system that is behind that expectation, everything that he wanted. So he speaks to the water, and the water will produce fish. He speaks to the sky, and the sky will produce the stars. He'll speak to the soil, the land, the earth, and the earth will produce plants and animals. And then he created a system that is a human system. And then he spoke to Adam, and then he created Eve out of Adam. So that's how God operates. He operates with a certain order. He operates with systems. So when you frustrate the order, then you must expect different outcome, because everything must follow that order that God has put in place. And then God created man after all the creation. After God created everything that could not think, then he started creating now someone that was going to think, someone that looked like him. So now I call man a risk project, because when God now was creating human beings, he was creating a risk project, because everything else that he created was a programmed species. So they could do what he want. So they don't participate outside of the program. So, but what he was creating now, when he was creating me and you, he was creating people that have a willpower, people that are going to make decisions, that they are going to think. So every other part of creation was not having a willpower and could not decide on anything. But God now took a good risk and said, let me create another king, since I am a king in heaven. And then now the relationship now between this being that God created things, and now he created a being. So the relationship between him and this being was a spiritual relationship. It was not a religious relationship. So the first relationship was a spiritual relationship. There are a number of relationships that I want us to talk about today. I just hope that time is going to allow us. I want us to look at man and all types of relationships that are around him. First, we look at man and his spiritual relationship. And then we're going to look at man and his personal relationship. We're going to look at man and his professional relationship. Professional then would include the land, will include his work, his job. And then we're going to look at the covenant relationship, the intimate relationship, or the romantic relationship. And then we're going to look at the evil relationship. And then there's a relationship that is supposed to be here, which now there was a discord in this progression that frustrated this order, because there was supposed to be a relationship here. Then there came an evil relationship which frustrated the order. And I will explain what relationship that was supposed to be here that got to be frustrated. So the first relationship that man had was the relationship with his God, which was a spiritual relationship. It was not a religious relationship. That is important that I'm explaining. It was not a religious relationship, but it was a spiritual relationship. Right now, religious people are frustrated. You see, at this time, in this season, with a lockdown all over the world, there's people who are going to survive, there's people who are not going to survive. Right now, business people are going to suffer. They are not going to survive very well. Entrepreneurs are going to survive because business people, they wait for the product to be out there and then they package it and sell it. But entrepreneurs are godlike. They create what they want. The second group that is not going to make it, it is performers. Performers are going to struggle in this season, but artists are going to make it in this season because performers are dependent on an audience. There must be an audience. But artists are artists on their own, with or without an audience. They are able to create music. They are able to create poetry. They are able to what they do what fascinates them before the audience. Then the last group of people that is not going to make it, I've got 5, but I want to mention these 3. Now, the last group that is not going to make it in this season, it is people that are religious. Religious people are not going to make it. Why? Because there must be a figure in front of them that is going to be telling them, talking to them, tickling them, inspiring them. So religious people can't do without a support. And there must be a certain location. They must be located somewhere. There must be a place. There must be music. There must be certain rituals that are done with the support of people. But a spiritual person is an individual with their God. They have a direct relationship with God. They have a personal relationship with God. Less spiritual. They are spiritual on their own. This time is exposing us as men. Are you a religious man or are you a spiritual man? People are complaining. We want to go to church. We want to go and worship. Why can't you get into your car and worship? Just the car parked outside there. If ever children are making noise in the house, get in the garage, get in your car and talk to your God. Communicate with your God because He is your God alone. I want you to check. Before there was Eve, before there was Cain and Abel, before there was anyone, there was God and Adam. The relationship started between the two of them. So it was a spiritual relationship. There was no keyboard, there was nothing, but it was just the two of them. So we need men that are going. What are you going to do? Because the world has become global. You're going to go into a space where there are no Christians. There is no church that speaks the language that you are speaking. What's going to happen with your spiritual life? So your spiritual life must be a relationship with your Father, must be a relationship with your God. It must go beyond the walls. It must go beyond any other limitation because it is your spiritual relationship with God. So Adam had his main and key relationship with God. This spiritual relationship is important because all other relationships, all these other types of relationships, they are fully dependent on this relationship. So if ever I have to be fine personally, I need first to be fine spiritually. If ever I've got to do well professionally, I've got to be fine spiritually. If ever I've got to do well sexually and intimately, it's important for me that I must be fine with God. So if ever my connection with God is healthy, then I'm likely to have a healthy relationship with everything else around me. When the spiritual relationship with God was lost in Eden, this is what the Bible says. The Bible says that God and Adam had a fruitful relationship, and they had a very productive relationship. And now and again, they will come and meet and have their fellowship with God. That's what spirituality is about. It's about fellowship with God. So that with fellowship is a fellows in the same ship, so they will be in the same ship with God. And then they'll talk. I just want to imagine they will talk about the events of the day. How did you perform and all the stuff? So when this relationship was affected, this is what happens. The Bible says that there came a foreign voice in the garden. When that voice came, then it frustrated this relationship. Look at this. God, Adam's friend is God. He's a friend of God. So since Adam is a friend of God, then everything goes between Adam and God. Any communication that is taking place in Eden, it is Adam and God. And God positioned Adam in Eden. God will always position you as a man in a certain Eden. There's always an Eden for someone. Unfortunately, our minds, we're always looking for jobs, we're looking for things outside of ourselves and outside of where we are. But the truth is that God will make sure that you are located in a certain Eden, and that Eden has got everything you need. All your needs can be met within that Eden. And God's gift to man, he gave man a job to do. He gave him that Eden, that he can cultivate the Eden. So when they meet, they are talking about the progress on how what I have given you. Adam is accounting about the responsibility that is given to him. Every man must have a responsibility. Every man must do something. This is very, very crucial in these last days where women are more empowered than men. I'll touch on that one later. But this is very important, that men must find something to do. Look, men, you must not be driven by that employee mentality, because right now jobs are not there. Every man must try to find something more that he is going to do. There are a number of streams that we find in Eden. For every man, that is an example that every man must find something that they can do with their time. It's very dangerous to have energy and have time, but you don't have a responsibility that you are channeling that energy towards that. That's why you will end up doing destructive things. Because why? You are not channeling that power. You're not using the power that is in you constructively in the right reason. So now, in that Eden, then God said, you can eat certain fruits, which means there were boundaries. There were certain things there were lines that you were not supposed to cross as a man. Then God gave Adam a woman. So this woman, mind you, the first relationship was God. Second relationship is a personal relationship. The third relationship is a land relationship. It's a professional relationship. The woman comes number 4. So she becomes the intimate relationship. So that was a relationship that was there because God wanted Adam to be social, wanted Adam to have someone that he's going to channel his love to. Then there came now the 5th relationship, which was the destructive, I call it the evil or demonic relationship, where now the enemy came in and frustrated the order of God. There was supposed to be God, Adam, land, woman, then offsprings. Can you look at this? This is where man's problem came. The offsprings came after the evil relationship. That's why there's always a challenge between man and his family. Because now the offsprings came after the result when God was upset with the couple. So now this family now started to be a problem because since the days of Adam, the man was struggling to deal with his family. When you read the book of Job says that Job did not have a problem, but he was always worried and concerned about his children. You see, so Job alone, him and God he did not have a problem. But as soon as there was family, as soon as there were children, now and again, Job needed to wake up and go and sacrifice for his children. In the morning and in the evening, he had to sacrifice for his children. Why? Because of this discord that happened here, whereby the devil came before the offspring. So now there's always been the adjustments. Then there was now the imbalance when man fell from his spiritual position. We're going now. Then God is looking for Adam. When God is looking for Adam, then he says, Adam, where are you? Look, it is Eve who started eating, but God is not focusing on Eve. God is focusing on Adam. Let me say it again. It is Eve who ate. And most of the time when we justify as men, we always say we are in this trouble because of Eve. But the truth of the matter, the Bible says that Eve ate, but Adam qualified what Eve ate. If me and Simpiwe Masiza, if I am a policeman and Simpiwe is an ordinary citizen, and then we commit a crime, I am going to be sentenced with a stronger and harsher sentence as a police person, and Masiza might get 3 years and I might get 15 years. Same crime, same place. What happened? It's because I am the law bearer and I am supposed to be knowing better how to function and what to do. So that's why God focused on Adam. He did not focus on Eve. He focused on Adam. Because Adam knew what was expected. He knew what he was supposed to do. So that's why God says, if ever there's anything and there's anyone to account, I am going to address Adam and Adam will address his wife. I don't come in that position. Then God comes to Adam at their fellowship time, at their spiritual time, at their spiritual dating time. And then when God comes into their appointment, he finds that this guy is not there. And he says, Adam, where are you? I'm picking a problem with this question. For me, it's a tricky question because it casts doubt in the credibility of God. It questions the definition of God. Because when we define God, we say he is omnipotent, omniscient, he's omnipresent. So we are simply saying God is everywhere, he knows everything, and he can do anything. So if God is everywhere, how can he ask this kind of a question? How can he ask and say, Adam, where are you, if ever he is everywhere? He is not supposed to be asking that question. I can ask that question. I am a limited being. I'm a human being. I've got limitations. So I have a right to ask that question because if I'm here, I don't know what on the other side. So I have a right to say, where are you? So why God is asking a question that is questioning his credibility? But I want you to look at something here, very interesting. God was not asking for the location of Adam. He was not asking for the location of Adam because Adam was still in Eden, but Adam was no longer in the position where they normally meet. So he was no longer in his position in Eden. So God is saying, this is like it's like a soccer coach. A soccer coach will say to a player, where are you? You know, exactly, where are you? And when he says that, it's not that the player is absent in the field. The player is in the field, but the player is not where he's supposed to be in the field. And what frustrates the coach is that there are chances and opportunities for the team to win, and goals are coming in your position, but you're not in your position. So God is asking Adam and say, Adam, where are you? Because when you're not in your position, Adam, then there is going to be an imbalance. You know, it frustrates the order because you are not where you're supposed to be. I want to encourage every man today that it's important for us that we need to get back to our position. Before you get into your professional position, before you get into your romantic position, before you get into your political position, before you get into your academic position, it's very important that you must be right in your spiritual position, because in the absence of this relationship with God, what happens? You become obsessed with one or two of the other relationships, which now begins to create imbalances in your life. I always say that life is like a cake. The beauty of a cake, the taste of the cake, does not lie with the availability of the ingredients, but the beauty of a cake lies with the measurements of the ingredients. So if ever you don't measure any of these ingredients proper, then you are going to spoil the cake. So now, what we need to do as men, we need to come back to God. If ever we can fix our relationship with God, it is going to be easy to fix our relationship with our families. It's easy for us to fix our relationship with our jobs, fix our relationship with the social life that we have. Adam, where are you? As I come to my closure, I want to say this. When Adam lost the relationship with God, one of the things that he lost this balance, and he left a wrong legacy. Every man must leave a legacy of these three things, at least for your family. Leave the legacy of wealth, leave the legacy of the fear of God, leave the legacy of a good name. Number one, the fear of God is very important. Teach your family, teach your children to fear God. Let them know that the achievements you have them because of God. Number two, it's very important that leave the legacy of wealth. The wealth becomes you in your absence. When you're no longer there, wealth is going to be there. The last one, every man must leave a good name. Every time you're thinking about Adam, you're thinking about a fall. That's why his children acted the way they acted, because his father was a brand of falling. Every man must leave a good name. As a man, if ever you can lose gold, lose everything else, make sure that your name is clean. Your name is protected. Let me tell you, your name can include long after you are dead. In everything that you are fighting for, in everything that you are doing, you can lose every other thing, but make sure that you protect your name. It doesn't mean you are not making mistakes. It doesn't mean that you want to falter somewhere. But stand up, repent, ask forgiveness, and clean yourself up. Your name will protect your children long after you are dead. Your name will provide for your children long after you are dead. Adam, get back to your position. I love you guys. May the good God bless you. I hope and believe that you are blessed. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pastor Thomas. Thank you so much. And I like how you pose a question, not tell us, to say, get back to your position and what legacy are you going to leave behind? I really like how you leave it to us, having outlined all the things that are important, but the point still remains to say, get back to your position and what are you going to be leaving behind? This was powerful. I'm not one to unpack scripture any further other than to thank you. In a couple of minutes, I'll open up the mics so that people can clap you out. And thank you so much, Pastor Thomas Radebe, for this morning. I'd like to thank everybody who listened to us live on the
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for giving me a chance.
Yes, indeed. On EmpowerWorks YouTube, Instagram at EmpowerMain, Twitter at EmpowerMain, Facebook at EmpowerMain, and following the hashtag I am EmpowerMain. At 1 o'clock, we're going to have Tim Craze talk to men and spirituality to carry on with the theme of today. I'm going to open up everyone's mic now. If you can just please clap the pastor out and give thanks, because some of us, this is an opportunity sometimes to just come back and just reconnect and find a position. So please